Backing up your WordPress site and or your WordPress install is really important. I do not create an automatic backup for you when I create the WordPress site. So you're going to need to learn how to do that yourself. So what I tend to do as a start point while I'm working, assuming something might happen while I'm actually developing my project, I go ahead and copy the code, the custom code that I place on each page. Okay, now if you're working with a default theme, this isn't going to help you too much. But if you're modifying the theme to a great degree, then I copy the code, I create a folder. I usually label the folder by the day of the backup, and then inside the folder, I go ahead and just have text files with the code, which I have copied from each of the pages, and also the custom CSS. Okay, so this is not a fail-safe, this is just part of an option, all right? But I tend to do this, and you also, I believe, I've mentioned this before, but you should have revisions available to you on each of your pages, which you can then back up to, okay? So these are usually set on an auto save. All right, so keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead. I didn't make any changes, so I'm not going to update my page. Let's go to plugins, and we will do add new, and we'll do a search, and let's just type in backup. And you're going to have to decide which backup tool you want to use. In the past, I've always used UpDraft. I've had really good success with this. I'm going to leave it up to you. But with UpDraft, you need to have a cloud account of some sort. So I'm going to use Google Drive. All right, so let's go ahead and just get this installed. So I'm going to pause, I'll install and activate. All right, so once you install and activate, the very first page you're going to see is what you're looking at here, and you are prompted to click on your settings. So let's go ahead, and it says press here to start, or you can click settings. So I'll just click press here to start. So instead of clicking the settings, I clicked start here, which takes us on a tour, and you will see that there is a big old button here which you can use to back up your install. Now what this is going to do is back up the install to the directory which your WordPress is installed. Now you do not have FTP access at this time, so you could do a backup, and that backup would be on the server, but if something happened to your current site and also to the server itself, then you'd be pretty much out of luck. So I would say go ahead and set up a regular backup, okay? And you want this to go to a remote storage. So let's just click on our settings. And what we need to do is select our schedule. Let's go ahead and click next. Then you're going to select your remote storage. Next. Go ahead and look through the other settings and make whatever changes you deem necessary. Let's click next. Then you will save your changes and you should be good to go. All right, let's just click next. All right, control all your backups in one place. Next, and let's just finish. Okay, so we need to start with settings. And let's go ahead, file backup schedule manual. retain this mini scheduled backups 2. Okay, so this will have 2 backups to your drive. And then we will do the same for a manual backup, and we will retain, this will be for the database. So you'll have a backup for the backup schedule, and then the database backup schedule. Now let's go ahead and select our backup destination, and I'm going to use Google Drive. All right, Google Drive. If you like, you can back up to more than one destination, but you'll need to add an add-on. I'm just going to back up to Google Drive. By default, a UpDraft Plus folder will be created on your drive. Now let's see what happens, because I already back up other sites using UpDraft Plus, so I already have that folder on my Google Drive. So let's just see what happens if there's any sort of conflict. You could change where your backups go if you update to premium, which when you're talking about all of your work, all of your clients' potential content, this is not a place where you would want to scrimp any. All right, authenticate after you've saved your settings by clicking Save Changes below. We're going to come back here to authenticate, and this is the link we need to follow to complete the authentication with Google Drive. All right, so I'm going to leave the defaults here. I'm not changing any of this, okay? And let's go down. You might want to have an update sent to your administrator's address, which you should have changed, because I don't want all of these coming to my email. So you should have changed this in your settings. All right, let's go down. Let's save. And then I'll pause while this is happening. All right, appears the save has completed. Now we must follow this we're automatically taken and to this and this pop-up here. So let's go ahead and authenticate. And you're going to choose your account. I'm already logged in. All right, so you're definitely going to want to read through this. Go ahead and check out the additional information, but basically you are signing over your soul to UpDraft Plus. I haven't had an issue, and I tend not to keep anything on my Google Drive that I do not already have elsewhere, so I'm not too concerned about it. So I'll go ahead and click Allow. All right, so we're now going to see our final setup window here. This button, I'm assuming this button here, okay, because this is not a button, even though it makes it seem that way. Anyway, this should be the path to that is going to be used. So let's go ahead and complete our setup. All right, so our setup is complete, and if you wanted to do a manual backup, okay, which is what we have this set for, so let's go ahead and back up now. And we are going to include the database, include your files, send this to the remote storage, only allow this backup to be deleted manually. Otherwise, my guess is if you say you only are going to allow X amount of backups, then previous backups will be deleted. I believe we only scheduled 2. All right, so this is a choice you're going to have to make. Let's go ahead and back up now. And the request is going to begin. Let's pause while we wait. All right, so the backup file is being created. All right, so I'm going to point out that I actually have a very small site for the demo. And if you have a very large portfolio site, then the backup may take quite a bit of time. So you will probably want to explore having your backup automated instead of doing it manually. All right, so you can see that so far we only have a small amount of our site backed up. So I'm going to pause and we will wait. All right, so my backup finished loading and my files should be on my drive. So let's go ahead and take a look just to verify. So I'm going to go to my drive. I'll go to my UpDraft Plus folder, which should have been created for you. And let's just scroll through. I have other backups. And here we are, today's backup for my Russ at art444sdsu.com install. All right, so using a plugin like UpDraft Pro to back up your database and all of your files, which is a very important thing to do. Go ahead and schedule a backup dynamically, or you can do a manual backup. But what is important is back up your WordPress site, back up your install. Because if something happens, and it has, all of your files will be gone and you will have to start over, which is a great learning experience to do something a second time, but it's not a pleasant experience. So back up and back up often.